In England, thousands of children grow up dreaming of making it as a professional footballer and playing in the Premier League, but only a tiny number ever make it. It's a story of persistence, setbacks, and a footballer who refused to give up. Mason Clark's journey didn't begin with hype. At a young age, he was never bigged up as the next wonder kid, and he didn't come through an elite youth academy. This meant in order to make it to the top of English football, he had to make the long journey through the trenches of non-league football with Barnet in the National League, and a short loan spell with Metropolitan Police in the Isthmian League Premier Division, where he made 4 appearances and scored no goals. Non-league football in England is unforgiving. Tiny crowds, long away trips, physical defenders, minimal glamour. You're not playing in packed stadiums. You're fighting to survive. But this was where Mason Clark gained experience in senior football and developed the traits that would define him later: fearless dribbling, explosive acceleration, direct attacking play. He became the type of winger defenders hated facing: quick, aggressive, unpredictable. And slowly, people in and around the lower leagues of the game started noticing. Eventually, he wasn't just part of the team. He was standing out. His confidence was growing, and every game he looked more dangerous. This was when bigger clubs started paying attention. That's the beauty of English football. If you perform, there's always another level waiting. And in 2022, Mason Clark earned his next opportunity, a move to Peterborough United for £200,000, a team who have gained a reputation for signing young players from Barnet, including defender Ronnie Edwards and midfielder Jack Taylor, who have both went on to play at even higher levels, so the move made sense, but it was a huge step. League One footballs. More pressure. Higher expectations. Now he had to prove he could do it against stronger, faster, more tactical opposition. And he did. At Peterborough, Mason Clark exploded. Fans across the English Football League started taking notice. He scored 32 goals in 103 appearances for the Posh and earned himself a place in League One's Team of the Season in the 2023-24 season. He was electric. Fullbacks couldn't stay with him. He attacked defenders constantly, drove into space, created chances, scored goals, and most importantly, he played without fear. Suddenly, the player grinding it out in non-league football looked destined for something bigger. And then came the move that changed everything. In the summer of 2024, Mason Clark signed for Coventry City in the Championship for over £4 million, which is a serious amount of money for a player plying his trade in the third tier of English football, but it was clear he was ready for the step up. Coventry had already become one of the Championship's smartest clubs, building a team on resilience, smart recruitment, relentless energy, and Mason Clark fit perfectly. This wasn't a superstar arriving with massive expectations. This was a player who had earned every single step of his career. And that mentality matched Coventry completely. But football never gives you a perfect script. Just as momentum was building at his new club, Mason Clark suffered a major setback through injury. And for a player whose game relies so heavily on explosiveness and movement, that's devastating. Months away from the pitch. Rehabilitation, doubts. Questions about whether he'd return the same player. This is where careers can stall. But once again, Mason Clark responded the only way he knew how: by fighting back. When Mason Clark returned from injury, Coventry were chasing history. Promotion to the Premier League. The biggest prize in English football. And suddenly, this player who once battled through non-league football was now one step away from the top division in the world. Think about that for a second. From Barnet to the Premier League. That journey almost never happens. But Mason Clark's story represents everything fans love about football. The idea that talent alone isn't enough. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You need mentality, resilience, patience. And when Coventry finally secured promotion, it wasn't just a victory for the club. It was the payoff for every difficult moment Mason Clark endured along the way. Mason Clark's rise is proof that football paths don't have to be perfect. Some players arrive early. Others take the long route. But sometimes the long route creates the best stories and builds character. From rejection to non-league football, to Barnet, to Peterborough, to Coventry City, to the Premier League. Efron Mason Clark earned every step. And the craziest part, his story might only be getting started. Bring on the Premier League.